Since the election in November 2024, Black people have collectively been on the same page. And I believe it's because the ancestors are speaking to us from beyond the grave. We all have been on the same page since November of 2024, since we all learned that Donald Trump won the election, we have all collectively said, y'all got this, we are sitting this out. And for us to all be on the same page, it has to be our ancestors speaking to us beyond the grave. That is what I believe. In addition to that, Black people took the time to read Project 2025. Black people took the time to listen to and watch other people breaking down Project 2025. So Black people in the United States were the most educated on what they were planning to do because of Project 2025. It was an open book test. They put it out there for all of us to see. They made it free. You could have ordered that book for free. You could download it and read it for free. And a lot of people did not take advantage of it. A lot of people did not take it seriously. A lot of people tried to silence Black voices who were trying to educate and warn people about what was in Project 2025. Donald Trump won. And the chaos immediately started. Why? Because they had everything already planned. If they had the book free and available for people to download, they had already had all of their executive orders written out and planned. All Donald Trump had to do once he took the oath was sign them. So coupled with our ancestors speaking to us from beyond the grave and us being educated on Project 2025, we said, y'all got this. We said, y'all got this. We knew that what they were planning, they needed Black bodies in order to be successful. We knew it. And we said that we were not going to put our Black bodies on the line anymore. And we've been successful in doing that. And I will say that white people, especially out there in Minneapolis, Minnesota, are stepping up to the plate to do what needs to be done. I'll give y'all some finger claps for that. Just know, it's a long battle ahead. But with that said, as a result of Donald Trump now being the commander-in-chief, he is in every way possible, him and his administration are desperately trying to fulfill all of what they need to fulfill from Project 2025 so that they can have this new world order. Okay? They're desperately trying to do that. But it ain't working out as they planned because we ain't out in the streets. I don't know if you know this, but Kevin Roberts, the CEO of the Heritage Foundation, it is rumored out there in the streets, I don't know, he studied Black Americans for decades. That's how they came up with this plan. That's how they were going to use Black bodies, because he specifically studied African Americans, Black Americans in this country, and how we rise up against injustices. And they thought that they were going to use that knowledge to get to their new world order. Y'all let me know. Is that true, Kevin Roberts? I've seen that plenty of times out there on social media. Anywho, they are floundering. They are flailing. A lot of the things that they attempt they fail. First of all, Donald Trump, he should be known as the failure in chief. Nothing he touches comes to fruition. Nothing. He's incompetent. And they think that they can keep him under wraps. He will let them know quick, fast, and in a hurry. He's the HBIC. I use the B purposely because that's what he is. Anywho, so they want to attack journalism. They want to attack free speech. It's all a part of their game. And in doing that, they went after Black journalists. They wanted Black people to be the face of something, thinking that it would get us out in the streets. I believe that's why they specifically went after Don Lemon, and the fact that Don Lemon is doing what journalists should be doing, and he is doing it without fear. Well, we still ain't going out in the streets. But since Don Lemon's arrest and his release, him and his good friend Joy Reid got together over on his channel, and I found this clip, and I'm just gonna let you listen to it, but it provided confirmation for me that us sitting our Black asses at the house is where and what we need to be doing, because us sitting at the house is causing them to fail. Check this out.
That there were folks like you who had been on the channel and others, and once I talked to Tim, when I was able to talk to him, he's like, yeah, the channel's been going all day. Your team has been kicking ass. Your friends, your journalist friends have been on all day. He goes, you have no idea. And I'm like, no, I don't. Look at my face. I'm like, oh my God.
You can see it. You can see it. Of course you were. I mean, you never really, we talk all the time about fascism, and we know that part of what fascism is that your government will direct its awesome power against individual citizens. We know that's a possibility. But, as some 2 days from you, and then it's 1 degree away from you, and then it's literally somebody who you text with and who's your friend. You know what I mean? It comes closer and closer and closer. It creeps closer and closer and closer until it's literally upon you. And then in your case, it's you. And so, we're really, I think, processing as a country what authoritarianism is. And for people who think, oh, this is just abstract, this is not our issue, this is not about us, particularly Black folks, it's about us. Because you notice that what they finally drew down to is 9 Black people. They went through all of this hell to attack brown people and attack Black immigrants. And eventually, they always come back to African Americans. We are still the focus of the hatred and the bile of the far right, whether the far right is called the Confederacy, the far right is called slave owners, whether the far right is called Jim Crow, whether the far right is in the Republican Party or in the Democratic Party back before when it was the Dixiecrats. It doesn't matter what the brand name is. The far right in the United States always eventually comes right back to Black folks, because we really are, us and indigenous people, we're the evidence of the crimes of their ancestors. And they will never get over the hatred, the core hatred of us.
These are the 4, you mentioned the 9 people. These are the 4 journalists who were arrested. Georgia Ford, me, and then Traherne Jean Cruz and Jamel Lendl Lundy, but they're based in Minnesota. That's according to the reports. And so look at that. I mean, that is not by accident.
No, not at all. And I'm looking here, I've got the indictment. That was the other thing I did, printed out the indictment and started reading through it. And it reads like a horror novel. It doesn't even make sense. And I'm not a lawyer, but it doesn't even make sense to a layperson. But look, that's the picture they wanted. And, there's been plenty of reporting, plenty of inside scoop from people like Lev Parnas that Stephen Miller and et al. were upset about the fact that the visuals of the occupation of Minneapolis, the visuals of the occupation were very white. The protests, even going back to No King's Day that we covered together with Jim Acosta, very white. The people who turned out to No Kings too, very white. The people in the streets of Minneapolis, you were there, it's very white. The protest movement is led by white people because they're putting their bodies in the way because they know they have a different relationship with police than we do, than Black people do. But the word from people like Parnas is that's not what the White House wanted. They wanted the face of what they want to call an insurrection because they want to use the Insurrection Act, but they need the face of that insurrection to be what's on the screen. Black.
Damn, Joy, you're always sharing the truth here. And then they got it with this one. What do you, oh my gosh, I did not know that. So when you texted me or called me, you knew something was up.
I did.
And it is my opinion, the reason why they want Black bodies in the streets is because for centuries, white people did not care about Black lives. It is easier for their collective to accept certain things if Black bodies are murdered for them to get to that goal. That's why they want Black bodies in the street. They've been sacrificing Black people, our rights, for decades because y'all have been silent. Y'all have been okay with it. And when I say y'all, I'm saying white people. You good white people. Y'all continue to vote and put them into office, even though they are hurting and harming Black people. And so they just thought for sure that they would get to this point and Black people will get out in the streets. Black people will do what they have always done, put their bodies on the line. And Donald Trump will then install the Insurrection Act. He will murder a few thousand Black people and you all would be okay with it. But Black people said nope, because the ancestors spoke to us from the grave and said, sit this one out. White people continue to do what you have been doing. They have a different relationship with you than they do with us. It's going to be you to pull us through this. Point blank, period. Y'all let me know your thoughts. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button. And I'll see y'all in the next one.